Right, back to New Game Plus we go. Last time, we don't need to go too crazy into it because last time was just like 3 hours ago, but last time we finished the mid-section of Elpis. We went off to find Hermes and Medion to try and inform them of our plight, because we determined that Hermes probably didn't want the world to end. So Vana and I went after him, ran into Emet-Selch and Hythlodaeus, who were still researching, even though Emet-Selch is angry that I portrayed him so badly. He was like, look, threat to the star, gotta look into it, is what it is. But we then split up and found Hades and Medion, only for Medion to then receive a message from her sisters. Off in the stars. And whatever they were saying to her distressed her so greatly that she ran off. She ran off, not wanting Hades to hear whatever it is that her sisters had discovered in the stars. We tracked her down. She began to tell us about how there was basically no life remaining in the universe. Everyone hates life. Everyone has no reason to live, and therefore no one should live, because everyone's just too sad. Life has no meaning, therefore no one should have life. And so as Medion goes angry and dark, and Hermes decides, instead of helping us fight her, as a sensible man would, he decides that she might be right, and tries to wipe away the memories of those of us in Thesis Hyperborea, but Emet-Selch and Hythlodaeus are able to get Vana and I out of there safely, so that we still have our memories, but Emet-Selch and Hythlodaeus have forgotten everything that's happened over the past few days. This is why Emet-Selch does not know us when we see him in Shadowbringers, because he lost the memories of that. But there have been hints that, and Hythlodaeus said this, and it was also alluded to in a later cutscene, that upon death within the ethereal sea, these memories might be returned to them. So, now that I've killed Emet-Selch, perhaps he remembers us somewhere in the void and feels silly for how much of an asshole he was. So yeah, Vana and I are here at the end of it all. We just checked in on Emet-Selch and Hythlodaeus, who were like, well, we don't have our memories, this is pretty fucking weird. Hermes also doesn't have his memories because he decided to be a part of the trial of humanity. He would stand as a man and see if he can help make his people worthy of his opinions on them. And now, Vana and I have a long way to go. And we're about to see one of the fucking coolest cutscenes in this whole video game. Are you feeling at all recovered? I understand that your exertions were more than purely physical. Resting one's body only for a moment is never without merit. As for Hermes, I think it unlikely he will create more Endwalker. He poured much of himself into Medion, and now that she and her sisters are gone, dissipated in his mind, the grief must be unbearable. He will blame himself. He will believe that had he never acknowledged his dissatisfaction with the world, then the Matea would never have been born to suffer and die. The offer to join the 14 will be a welcome distraction, and one day hence, he will face the advent of the final days in the role of Fandaniel. And she's not wrong. That's exactly what happens. Fandaniel tries to thwart the final days alongside the 14. Game's definitely too loud. Yeah, tries to thwart the final days alongside the 14, representing humanity to see if they're worthy of living. Ileana, listen to me. Our duty now is not to denounce Hermes for his misguided determination, or to convince Emet-Selch and Hythlodaeus that they have been deceived. No, we must instead ensure that the experiences Hermes sought to expunge are preserved. What remains in our memories alone will be our weapon against the final days. You must fight this battle in your age, and I in mine. Come, let us walk together once more. I will see you to the doors of Propylion. So it is our time to leave the past. and go back to the future, or our present, battle and locate Meteon, because Vana put a tracking spell upon her. Oh yeah, also early in the part we had a badass duel with Vana. She's cool, the remix of Flow is awesome, and because of it, Argos decided that he appreciated us. The doggo who loved us on the moon. The lustrous dog, as I remember the adjective. I thought it was luxurious, but no, it was lustrous dog. But we are now to face some a pretty fucking cool cutscene. I'm absolutely gonna mute myself during it because I'm gonna cry. Your time in this age is drawing to an end. Upon speaking with Vana, several cutscenes will play in sequence. Get fucking ready. It's time for a gauntlet.
So, it is within. The portal that brought you hither, and will take you home.
Perhaps I should stay and help.
I appreciate your sentiment. I truly do. But 'tis a very long game that we must now play. And while you have maintained a stable presence here thus far, there are dangers in lingering over long. No. You must return to your own battlefield. Make use of the knowledge you have attained, that your days here and our friends' sacrifice be not in vain. With Meteon free to pursue her designs, 'tis only a matter of time until the final days are upon us. We must be ready. From fortifying our defenses to securing our escape, there is much to be done. In spite of this, we cannot allow the report that set this calamity in motion to become common knowledge. Were the masses to learn the fates of the other stars, I fear the situation would spiral out of our control. I must carefully consider who can be trusted and bring them into the fold. Ordinarily, I wouldn't hesitate to call upon the 14. However, it was the desire for a fair determination that drove Hermes to attempt to erase our memories. Were he made aware of his actions, there is no telling whether he would remain a friend or become a foe. Alternately, we might try to alienate him from the convocation. Yet in doing so, we would deprive ourselves of a brilliant mind who would be invaluable in the crises to come. Quite the dilemma. Which is why I must work independently of the convocation. Regardless of how we proceed, if we are to permanently avert the final days, we must be equal to Hermes' challenge. We must prove that mankind is worthy to exist. And this hinges, I think, on how we confront the all-consuming despair that accompanies a senseless and seemingly inevitable end. Bewildered and divided, we would perish like the peoples of those celestial ruins. We could not hope to survive the final days, much less take the battle to Meteon at her nest. We must find a way to defeat despair, to unite and prepare as many as possible for the struggle ahead. Heavy will weigh the burden of guiding this legion of souls. Yet I have faith in mankind's potential. As long as he believes in himself, there is naught he cannot achieve. So I will not give up on him. On us. You may find your world to be very different. Or perhaps the erasure of our friends' memories has sown the seeds of a conjunction between us. We cannot know until the moment is at hand. So shall I strive to do my best, taking naught for granted as I walk my path. And I pray you walk with me to the end. As you move forward, so too will I, as will all, resolved to fight for the morrow. And when mankind has found the strength to stand against despair, we shall silence the song of oblivion. She who sings it will learn our journey is far from over. This I promise. Fare you well, my light of the future, till we meet again.
From this day forth, I shall strive to bring honor to the seat of Vandani.
Even now, I remember standing there, locked in a moment where the sky is aflame. Where stars fall as tears, and screams darken the seas. Where resignation rots the trees. Where terror twists magics into abominations. Such is the lament of they who have gone before. The song of they who tried and failed to create a better world. The song of the end. That which hides at the edge of the universe is no longer hope's creation. It is hopelessness incarnate. That day, mankind saw half of its number sacrificed to bring forth Zodiac. And covering the star in a shroud of ether we forestalled the final days. Yet the cries echoed still. We wept for innocence lost, wailed for death inevitable. A reality too terrible to bear. And for too many who sought comfort in gilded memories of joyful days and tranquil nights.
This is all wrong! Why must we suffer so?
It needn't be like this. No. There must be a way to restore things to the way they were. To reclaim the perfect paradise we once had.
No, my friends. Suffering exists, and we cannot pretend otherwise. No civilization, however great, could eliminate it. If we would live, we must accept it as our constant companion. Let us not seek to forget this tragedy. Let us carry it in our hearts, that we may grow stronger and know true happiness.
We can't accept it! We won't accept it! It will be ours again! A world free of sorrow!
No, it will not. For there has ever been sorrow. Mankind was but spared its biting sting for a time. So please, open your eyes. To try and reclaim those lives we lost by sacrificing yet more isn't wisdom. It is weakness. No paradise is without its shadows. If we cannot accept this truth and learn from our pain, then our plight shall be repeated.
O mighty Zodiac! God, born of our boundless faith, we bid you, hear our prayer. Accept this offering of lives, and deliver unto us the lives we once had. Deliver unto us the days of old, the days when the star was a font of love, and we knew naught but bliss.
You would destroy it? Our beautiful world?
Lands that stretched on forever. Skies one could drown in. The heartbeat of nature, silent yet strong. And amidst it all, a people. Beacons of light and life. Laughter that warmed my heart like naught else before. They are my meaning and my purpose. My love. In spite of, or perhaps because of this, I choose to believe in mankind's potential, in his ability to find a way forward. So let there be no way back. From that temptation, I sunder us. No more shall man have wings to bear him to paradise. Henceforth, he shall walk. All is excruciating pain. I breathe fire and torment. I birth a world of suffering to mire and plague. In one fleeting moment, lives come and go, ever moving towards the unknown. And in that fleeting moment, they cry for the answer to the question. Why, given life, are they meant to suffer, to die? As fragmented, imperfect beings, yours is a never-ending quest. A quest to find your purpose, knowing your end is assured. To find the strength to continue when all strength has left you. To find joy, even as darkness descends. And amidst deepest despair, light everlasting. A conjunction has begun to form, an intertwining of your time and mine. When you truly understand what is at stake, and your journey has prepared you to surmount the insurmountable, then shall I honor the promise made in another time, another age.
First time I watched those scenes, I cried like a small child. So Vana, there was a lot of symbolism in that cutscene. Every blow that was struck upon her was another rejoining. The Ascians weakening her as she continued to step forward, always following into the footsteps that we ourselves were also walking. That cutscene with Emmett Selk at the end there was us continuing to take steps forward despite the fact that we were being shattered to pieces by light, always pushing on. And then that bit at the end there about a promise from another time, another age. That was a cutscene from the very beginning of Endwalker when we first met the visage of Hydaelyn, and she was talking about us. We had yet to even begin to know we would ever go back to the past. There was no way we would have known that at that time, but she was speaking of her promise to us to always press on and to continue to fight the fight. Now we go back to the source. We have our own war to win. Kinliana, impeccable timing as always. I'd heard you were off in the first as part of our efforts to investigate the final days. Well, as so often seems to be the case, while you were away, we've had some few developments, which we can discuss in just a moment. For now, however, I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to have you back. So, have you learned aught more of the final days? Oh boy, howdy. Then the journey was well worth the risk. No doubt your newfound knowledge will be a great boon to us all. Unfortunately, during your time on the First, events here have taken a turn for the worse. The Scions are running themselves ragged, trying to contain the spread of blasphemies, but it's a losing battle. To try and ascertain the where and the why of it, Alize and Alfino have been traveling all over. Of the regions they visited, Locus Ammonius is one of the worst affected. Thancred, Estinian, and Graha took a detachment of allied soldiers there to offer aid and succor to those in need. But the province is vast. They only managed to visit a handful of coastal villages. It was an accomplishment worth celebrating still, but a drop in the bucket at best. In the meantime, Y'shtola and Master Matoya have been making a concentrated effort to establish contact with Hydaelyn in the Ethereal Sea, but to no avail. As for Tataru and I, we've been keeping a close eye on the Forum. From what we gather, they've been constructing a vessel to ferry people to the moon, an ambitious project that has likely been years, if not decades, in the making. However, since we've seen no sign of it thus far, I suspect it's still incomplete. You will also recall the proposal issued by Master Fortuno to the people of Radzad-Han. Following their discussion, Vritra declared his support for the plan, and urged those who wish to evacuate to accept the Forum's invitation. So far so good, but that's where things get a little strange. Apparently the Forum caught wind of the lunar teleporter in the Tower of Babel, and decided to use it to deliver people to the moon instead of their mysterious ship. Therefore, to secure safe passage for the Hanish refugees to the tower, Alfino, Alize, Estinian, and Graha traveled to Garlemald not long ago. Trouble is, the capital was hardly the safest place to begin with, and now... Final days have come to Garlemald. Shortly after our friends arrived, they were sent to rendezvous with Master Fortuno. Then, panic broke out, and our communications were severed. From what fragments we were able to make out before the link shell went completely silent, we can only assume the phenomenon is spread to the capital. The others need you, Kinliana. Please, you must help them. Having you there will make all the difference. I'm sure of it. Camp Broken Glass was their first port of call, so you'd best start there. Hopefully Lucia will know where they are. There's no telling what you'll be walking into, so you'd best take every possible precaution. Just came back from the past, and it's already going down. We got places to go. No rest for the warrior of light. Kinliana, and not a moment too soon. The skies over Garlemald are ablaze, but it's events on the ground that concern me. As you will have heard, your fellow scions arrived ahead of you. We cut the customary greetings short after we received word from our troops on the Magna Glacius that the Forum's airship has landed. It was then that the heavens began to burn. I dispatched your friends at once to ensure the refugees came to no harm. I would have you join them immediately. Additional support is en route, but we will discuss them later. I trust you are ready to depart? Cutscene gauntlet and a duty. Earlier on the Magna Glacius.
No. 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 We were promised an escape. Not the same whom we fled.
I shall not meet my final days here in this blasted waste. Calm yourselves. Your panic is our greatest enemy. Come, we must build a line of defense. How?
Leave the fighting to us, Father. You must lead the people to safety.
I can handle this pair. You?
Shall tend to the refugees. Let us be about it.
As you wish, my little lord.
And we get to play as Sage Alphino. Woohoo! Gaming. I think I've never played Sage a day in my life, except for this duty. I don't know what his buttons do.
I'll command the beast's attention. See to the wounded.
Assuming diagnosis is a single target heal. What's this? Prognosis. Okay, that's an AoE heal. I'm assuming Levieur diagnosis is probably a single target.
Leave it to me.
So that's okay, that's a dot. Okay. Yeah, don't panic. If you panic, you're gonna turn into bad guys, and they're bad guys. very. You're being overwhelmed by fear. Alfino, do what you can.
Those who can stand, come with me.
Everyone's turning. All is lost.
You're safe now. Easy now. Deep breaths.
Worry not for the refugees, but for yourself.
You take the lead, I'll provide support. Shield. Okay, that's just the same. Still getting the hang of those things. Flying it off.
Someone, please!
What?
No. Don't. I don't want to die.
Forward! Let not a single fiend escape!
Reinforcements have arrived.
Wait, that's... Euless and the army. So, you've recovered then? In time enough to be of aid, for once. We can speak of it more later. For now, we must fight! To repay your salvation in kind, or with better! for Garlemald has her pride!
Of that I've no doubt.
Good gods. Of all possible saviors, the Imperial Army. Oh!
Just Alizé things.
I had hoped to take all of them down at once.
Think a withdrawal might be in order?
Oh, sod that. You know who would never abandon these people to their fate. To be devoured by their former friends. That'd be beyond cruel. These beasts must fall here and now.
Well then, I'd say it's high time we threw caution to the winds.
So long as you spare me the heroic sacrifices. Now, let's go!
To battle as Alizé Leveilleur. We've lost too many already, Graha. With me! See if I care. I won't back down now. Now's our chance.
I'm not done yet.
Nothing to worry about.
Oh, don't do this to me.
Find cover!
As they say, turnabout's fair play. On guard.
Alizé and her special LB3.
There's not the barest trace of ether. Maybe there really is no way to bring them back.
Thank you for saving our lives once again. I remember you, from Purusha. You helped us there too, didn't you?
Ah, you're from Palaka's stand. I'm glad you're still in one piece. Or you will be, once I see to that injury of yours.
Look out! Get out of here! Quickly! I won't lose them! Not a one! This will be a brighter future! I won't let a madman's apocalypse ruin everything we've fought to achieve!
Get it together, Alizé. You're embarrassing yourself. And in front of Father, no less. You might never measure up to our champion. But we ask too much of her as it is. You mustn't let our sword in the darkness fight alone.
Oh, hey, that's me. I'm a sword, and it's kind of dark. Not alone. Be fucking slow walking. There's a crisis, woman. You've done well in my absence. I'm back.
I can look after myself, you know.
Everything's in order, I trust?
Boy, howdy, just wait till I tell you what I've been through.
I've had enough of this rabble! Come on!
Oh, a trio for the ages.
That we are, Graha. That we are. The mode shifts back to a caster. I bet you he tanks if you're not a tank.
just the beginning.
I had a feeling I'd find you. This should be the last of the worst troublemakers. With me!
Duelists will see the refugees to safety. Yo, player hater? Yes, this is New Game Plus. Welcome in. We did a little bit before raid. And a little bit here after. Yeah, it's going down. We're finally out of the past. And as Vana takes her battle to her time period, we are now back to our time period. We know the cause of this. We know the cause of the final days, and we will fight. Day has been well. Good exercise in all way.
You must board without delay. The ship will depart ere long.
Your offer to host us in Sharlayan is most appreciated. But will the final days not soon fall upon it as well?
Your hesitation is not unwarranted. The satrap entrusted me with your lives, yet I have failed your comrades. Nor are you wrong to fear that this corruption will continue to spread. I cannot promise you complete safety, even in my homeland. What I can promise is that I will do all in my power to protect you. That power is not inconsiderable. Even now, my countrymen are preparing the vessel that will deliver us to a sanctuary on the moon. Join us on our journey there, and beyond, to new horizons. Come to old Sharlayan. Please.
We would be fools to refuse such a generous offer made in earnest.
It seems they've a new destination.
The people of Radzat Han have known too much suffering. The march to Garlemald will only bring them more, short though it may be.
I quite agree. Fortunately, they have you to look after them.
Yes. Well.
Behind you! Just there!
More of them.
Xenos. Haven't seen him since the moon.
Xenos! Here!
You'll be all right. Hurry to the airship.
Why have you come?
A heretofore unseen beast. 'Twas ripe for the slaying. Poor sport, alas. Unfit to temper my blade.
Oh, for the love of... You cannot still be on about a rematch.
That is, and has ever been, my sole concern. You, on the other hand, are fixated on a different quarry. Your passion pales before mine, yet neither hate nor despair seems sufficient to recapture your misdirected bloodlust. So, I hone my blade, and I wait.
That's it. That's all you care about. Garlemald is in ruins. Our homeland, the nation you rule, is as good as gone. Along with so many of its people. Not just soldiers like us. Not only those who fought and killed for power and duty. Innocent civilians. Murdered by their own flesh and blood. Lost and confused as they breathed their last. While we who survived with our lives and minds intact were left to freeze to death. The Eorzeans tell me all this was your doing! You slaughtered your countrymen! You did! For what?
For nothing, in the end. So much wasted effort.
You bastard! For your own sake, Eulus, you must control your anger. It will serve no one should it consume you and see you transformed.
Would you be happier had I a good reason?
What?
If my motives met with your approval, would you no longer resent the outcome? If so, then perhaps a beast's skin would suit you better. Duty, honor, morality. All constructs of convenience when put to proof. Surely the war taught you how easily power becomes the tool of the self-righteous. How the people's justice was merely a means to their ends? Yet you would ask me why. Ask any creature of this star and those above for answers, and they will tell you what suits their fancy. And they would be right to do so. What meaning there is to be found in the petty vicissitudes of your existence must be gleaned by you, and you alone. Should you seek it in battle in the fruitless pursuit of my demise, then come. Assume your rightful place as a notch on my blade.
You are a blight on the Garlean race, and there would be no more satisfying way to expunge it than by beating you to death. But I will not be party to another tragedy. I refuse to lose anyone else because of you. So go. Go! And may we never suffer your madness again!
Xenos! Perhaps you found meaning in living this way. I cannot deny you found strength. Yet if you only pursue your hedonistic pleasures and pay no heed to the plight of others, then no one will give you the time of day. You will never get what you want, not even the battle you pine for so dearly. You'll be alone for an eternity, and you'll deserve every agonizing second of it.
Yeah. Tell him, Alize.
We're ready to depart. The refugee ships will be leaving shortly, but I've asked mine to remain for the time being. There's room enough for you to join me on it, if you wish. Do contain your surprise. I needn't agree with the Scion's methods or intentions to acknowledge that their deeds are deserving of gratitude.
We appreciate the offer. But might I ask why you are delaying your departure? I presume it is not solely for our benefit.
I must visit Garlemald ere we return to Sharlayan. Having caused such an uproar, 'tis only meet that I explain myself to the Ilzabard contingent.
Allow us to accompany you then. We should be glad to facilitate, given our familiarity with all concerned. If you would like to join as well, Eulus, we can speak of recent events on the way.
He'll be after your seat on the forum next.
Simeon is the proudest big brother ever. Yo, Stratastar. Didn't want to talk during the voice cutscene. I feel like I probably have seen that meme, but I would still appreciate a reposting of it. I loved... hey, Xenos. Bitch. To see Xenos standing there, so uncaring and unrepentant. Gods, I don't know what came over me. I just blurted out the first thing that came to mind, but looking back on it, I stand by those words. I would say I hope they won't incite him to further villainy, but to be honest, I doubt he even remembers what I said. Anyway, enough about all that. It's good to see you again.
No major injuries then. Good. I briefed the recovered soldiers and sent them on their way as quickly as I could, but nevertheless feared they would not make it in time.
The additional support was invaluable. Your men saved more than a few lives. Though not all, I regret to say.
I take it that I'm addressing Lucia Junius. I'm the Forum's envoy, Fortuneau Leveilleur. And you are owed an explanation for these most dire developments.
Another trial wrought by the final days. I was beginning to suspect as much. You doubtless feel some consternation having been forced to abandon your original plan. But trust me when I say you were right to send the refugees elsewhere. Beasts have been sighted within the capital. Perhaps it was a stroke of grim fortune that the population was decimated beforehand, as they've yet to appear in any great number, but in time. In any case, Maxima leads the remainder of the contingent in an effort to cull the creatures and evacuate the populace as we speak. Once the airships have taken to the skies, I pray your men can be persuaded to join him.
You'll permit us to retain our weapons?
I wouldn't have sent you after the Scions were I expecting you to stab them in the back.
And I, for one, would not consider past transgressions more relevant than future contributions. Regardless of the circumstances that saw us at odds before, we need men of courage now, more than ever.
We swore to defend Garlemald, and so we shall.
It seems you have everything under control. You will excuse me then, for mine own duties await.
A moment, Master Fortuno. You did desire to express your appreciation for services rendered, did you not?
I did. Though if you intend to again ask that Sharlayan alter its course, you will find my gratitude insufficient.
'Tis nothing so onerous. I wish to hear the details of this grand endeavor of yours.
Do you swear to listen and to learn, and not to embark upon some scheme to impede us?
I swear.
Any other, I would doubt. But you, I trust to keep your word. For not once have you broken it. Very well. I will request that the Forum make you privy to our plans. You may await our summons at the Baldessian Annex, assuming the decision is in your favor. Does that suffice?
It does. You have my thanks.
Excellent. You can regale us with tales of your most recent sojourn to the First while we wait.
Oh yeah, by the way, I went back in time. I know shit's been going down here, but I did do that.
Did you hear something just now?
This was so silly. Zombie Lopperette!
Dawn may banish even the darkest night, and to this bitter clime bring warmth and comfort. 'Tis heartening to see such an assembly upon my return. I thought often of you whilst I looked down upon our star's brilliance from the moon above.
Yes, but what are you doing here? And dressed like that? Aren't you cold?
Verily, I fear for my health should I proceed to expound upon our purpose ere I procure more suitable garments.
Then allow me to summarize. We're here because none of you lot are up there. Nor has anyone deigned to send word about any changes in the plans. It's food, is what it is. At least that's what I thought at first, but then folks got to wondering if you weren't in a spot of bother, so we decided to take matters into our own hands. Come down here and help, if our help be needed. So she says, but it's also something of a convenient excuse to visit Aetheris. Oyanje made it sound absolutely marvelous. More so before the impending doom, but still. And it's not like there will ever be a better time. What with the aforementioned doom?
Marvellous, they say, yet not an ounce of pudding to be found. I must suffer Orionge's inferior works no more.
Hey! Maybe really consider the plight of present company before you go blathering on about pudding and doom?
Pudding and doom.
As I was saying, should you require any assistance with whatever, we are at your disposal. We were born from Hydaelyn's love for the lives of this star, so naturally we would much prefer to see them continue. Twiddling our thumbs up on the moon is hardly conducive to that, though, is it? Aye, not when you've all got such precious thoughts and feelings and hopes for the future deserving of more active preservation. Speaking to Urianger made us realize that while we've carried out our duties to the letter, we've failed to fulfill them in spirit. From there, it was just a hop, skip, and a jump towards resolving to do better. So please, show us how. Help us help you.
Forgive me, but are they...
Thy distant collaborators, indeed.
Hail, fellow! Well met! You'd be a member of the Forum, would you? It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you at last. I'm Livingway, Hydaelyn's right paw! That last bit is very important. As am I, if I may humbly say so myself.
I, bid you welcome to our star, Livingway. On behalf of the Forum, I thank you for traveling such a distance to meet us. As you have surmised, preparations for the Exodus have not proceeded as smoothly as we had hoped. I should be happy to personally escort you to our headquarters in Sharlayan, where you may advise us as you deem fit.
'Twas with reluctance that I set aside the great work of readying the moon for habitation. Be assured that I did so only after the Loperites made plain their earnest desire to come hither, and I myself felt a growing certainty that their contributions here would prove invaluable. 'Tis trite, perhaps, but I followed my heart.
Good to haveth you back, Urianger.
For a time, at least. Nevertheless, 'twas worth the journey to find present company well. Wilt thou attend us at the Forum and lend thine own wisdom?
If that's all quite settled, can we start moving before Urianger catches his death? Even I'm freezing out here.
Oh, I dare say you'll warm up quickly once you're aboard the airship. Sat shoulder to shoulder with our fur-covered friends.
Just like that, we're back in Sharlayan. I dare say Master Fortuno was as nonplussed as we to learn the identity of Hydaelyn's lunar custodians. He will soon discover they have much and more to offer the Forum. Might I suggest we return to the Annex forthwith? We may yet have time to discuss thy recent adventures ere we are summoned to the rostra. Yeah, we still really need to talk about the fact that I literally went back in time. I literally time traveled, and I haven't been able to tell anyone about it yet because the world's busy ending. Our dancer got an orange healing parse in today's raid. That means I have to look at the parse really quick. I'm super curious. I mean, parsing is bad, kids. Don't do it. I think I died today, though, compared to last time. Okay. Today I got a 9. Yep. I think I did a little bit better last time. Did I die twice? No, I just died once. Yeah, well. Oh, with my 9, I was top DPS. Oh no. That's funny. Yeah, no, it was, we literally won by seconds today. Alright, try to miss any dialogue. No, okay. Not that I'm complaining, Urianger, but I wasn't expecting to see you quite so soon. Nor I thee. In extolling the virtues of Atheris, I did inadvertently awaken in the Loporrits a desire to avert our beloved star's demise. Kryl tells us you've obtained a new knowledge that may aid us in our ongoing efforts. I have news to share regarding our study of the Ethereal Sea, but your findings are certain to be of greater interest, and so I would rather hear them first. To what revelations did Heidelin's Elpis flower lead? Literally time travel. Can I finally tell someone about it? Then this dynamis is what drives the final days. And if it and Akasha are one and the same, this all but proves Nadana's theory. We're an entity, through sheer force of emotion, to channel this vast, dormant reservoir into a raging river, its power might surpass even that of ether. But if our star is so replete with ether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamis of the great expanse. Meteor. Or rather, the sorrow and suffering of fallen civilizations that she has been hoarding for millennia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred drawn from every corner of the universe, all for a single purpose, the destruction of Atheris. Then our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity. We have but one aim, to defeat Meteon. You make it sound so simple, but you're not wrong. Vanquish Meteon, and we deliver the world from the final days. But to even attempt it, there are two conditions. First, we must determine her location. Before Meteon escaped, an enchantment was placed upon her by Vana, the woman who would become Heidelin. The implications of temporal magics are not entirely understood, and so we cannot assume that our Heidelin and the Vana you met in Elpis are one and the same. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities as an all-powerful being, I'd wager that Heidelin possesses the knowledge we seek. Whether she would share that knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. After all, she intends for us to flee Atheris, not to stay. You suppose she has abandoned her pursuit of Meteon? The Vana I know would never give up. That's my impression too. Otherwise, she wouldn't have used me as a conduit for her will, or provided clues such as the Elpis flower. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answer to Hermes' question. So what's the second condition? We must find a means to reach Meteon. Naturally, our chosen method will depend entirely upon wheresoever she has made her nest. Then communing with Heidelin must be by necessity come first. Did you and Master Matoya have any luck with your investigation into the Ethereal Sea? Sadly not. Though we enlisted the help of Arenvald and other Echo-based allies, we couldn't detect so much as a whisper from Heidelin, even from within the Antitower. Master Matoya is of the opinion that in the years since abandoning it, the Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Heidelin. If so, it would most likely be some form of apparatus for observing the ethereal sea built closer to home. Sorry to interrupt. We've just received word from the Forum. Your presence is required in the Rostra, where they intend to discuss the Great Exodus. Then Father was able to persuade them. They're finally taking us seriously. Let's hear what they have to say. I like how I literally tell them about how I went back in time and met Heidelin before she became Heidelin, and they're all like, yeah, that sounds about right. No excitement. Nothing like that. Literally met God before became God. Yeah, that sounds like a day in the Warrior Flight. Warrior Flight's life. The Forum is in session, and as such, the Rostra is closed to visitors. Yeah, but not to us. A scion of the Seventh Dawn? Very well, you may wait in the corridor. Of course, entry will only be permitted on the condition you leave your armaments at the door. Lest you forget, this sacred institution holds rational discourse in the highest. The implements of war are expressly forbidden. Bitch, you can't have my sword. I need that. Don't mind me just cutting through the room that's in session. I'm supposed to be going through the hallway, obviously, but yeah, no, shortcut, gotta go fast. Excuse me, pardon me, empty room. It's gonna be full in a moment somehow. And just like that, 100 members.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter. We are here to listen and to learn. But if the Forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends. By your leave, of course.
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far.
Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
Thank you, everyone.
If I may have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, at their request, on the Great Exodus. You may enter. On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glacies. We shall not soon forget your service to us and the people of Radzat-Han. The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well. As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Sharlayan has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety. Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Sharlayan citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Rabzat Khan was foremost among these, but since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct. This Ark, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Seven hells. Is there anything to be done?
The ether burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem? We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency, on 2 conditions. If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the Anti-Tower had you no other means of communication. One far more convenient, I suspect.
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your Ark.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
Delightful as always, Master Alfino. Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself. Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration. I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote. All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms? "71 in favor, 28 against. The ayes have it. Fortuneau, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum.
Very well.
I call this session to a close. Return to your tasks with urgency. The final days wait for none.
Alfino at it with big brain plans. Sorry about not letting the rest of you in on my plan. I was, admittedly, thinking on my feet for the most part. But since we require both a means of communing with Hydaelyn and reaching Meteion, in the spur of the moment, I saw involving ourselves with the completion of the Ark as a way to work towards both objectives simultaneously. However, we must first keep our end of the bargain by solving the problem of the Etherburner. I'd like to think it is not a challenge beyond our combined expertise, or at least the expertise of our extended circle of associates. It might behoove us to learn how the Etherburner actually works before we attempt to improve it, though. As instructed, I shall take you to see the Etherburner. Meet me outside the Archeon. I trust you can make your own way there. The Ark is being built in Labyrinthos. Hardly surprising. Where else could they conceal such a massive undertaking? Kitty cat, we were already snuggling earlier, and then you left me. If you want to snuggle, you have to stay. Have a snuggle pal. Our destination lies in the lower levels. The Forum, in its wisdom, has granted you access to the Archeon's lift. Step inside and have Opheline take you to the medial circuit. Or, since I'm a cheater from the future, fly myself down there. Hell-ho! I've sent your associates ahead to Logisticon Alpha, on the other side of Marial Argonomics. Actually, there's something I've been meaning to... No, never mind. It can wait. Let us attend to the matter at hand. This is the area we snuck into many moons ago. Which all turned us into frogs. Spied on some stuff and got in trouble. All good things. We are to wait here while our father arranges for us to use the next lift. Here being Logisticon Alpha, where the atmospheric conditions of Labyrinthos are regulated. Water is drawn from underground and dispersed as vapor, stimulating the formation of artificial clouds and rain. By manipulating the temperature and air circulation, they are able to create the ideal environment for the growth and preservation of the biological samples kept here. Hold on, how do you know so much about it? Why, Father brought me here as a child. What, and left me behind? Actually, you're the one who left me behind when you went off somewhere with Grandfather. The night before, I'd been asking Father how clouds are made, so he decided to show me. It was fascinating. I peppered him with questions the entire time. It is all too easy to take for granted the many interweaving aspects of the natural world, to grow inured to the wonders. But having gained an understanding of the complex mechanisms employed by the Loporits in recreating a similar environment, I have come to view such processes in a new light. The subterranean gardens of Labyrinthos, the lunar prison forged to contain the ancient Zodiarch, the habitations built for all mankind beneath the moon's surface, each unique, yet undeniably similar. It is no mere coincidence. Ever since Hydaelyn unfolded to us the grim fate that awaits Aetheris, every essential resource we could spare has been delivered to Labyrinthos in preparation for the Great Exodus. But that is not all. It is also a testing ground for the technologies that will allow us to settle on distant stars. Though the Loporits have endeavored to make the moon inhabitable, that is not our final destination. Mankind must learn to propagate life where there is none, to thrive where all is barren. Alas, time is not on our side. I have arranged for you all to enter the Central Circuit. It is there that most of our preparations for the Great Exodus are carried out, the construction of the Ark among them. Though our plans have been made public, access remains highly restricted. You, however, will not be subject to said restrictions, and will have free reign to come and go as you please. Such is the will of the Forum, after all. We will prove ourselves worthy of their trust, your trust. And let us proceed. By decree of the Forum, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn are permitted to enter the Central Circuit. The ether burner is being constructed not far from here. Overseeing the work is Kokol Dunkel, after whom the forge is named. Once the necessary introductions have been made, I shall leave you with him to discuss the particulars. This way.
Could swap them out. No, been there, done that. Damn near lost my eyebrows.
Think, Kokol, think! We be well on our way to paradise. Visionaries patting themselves on the backs for their grand accomplishments if you'd only think!
Yes, that does sound rather lovely.
Yeah! I mean, masterful, you know, what a pleasant surprise. We're not blasting off already, are we?
The schedule remains unchanged, for better or worse. Which is why the Forum has elected to accept assistance in resolving the ether burner conundrum.
Not seen you lot down here before.
There are Archons among their number, but engineering is not their expertise. Nevertheless, the Forum concedes the slim possibility that they may have insights to offer. If not, you are at liberty to return them to the surface, by whatever means you see fit.
I assure you that won't be necessary. Now, about your troubles with the ether burner.
Aye, aye, I'll walk you through it. Suppose I could do with a change of pace. As the name ought to tell you, the ether burner burns ether, ambient or otherwise, and transforms it into motive force. Think of it like a giant bomb that never stops exploding. Even out in that black void where the ether's right sparse, it's strong enough to move our arc. And it probably won't kill you like an actual bomb. But it ain't perfect. According to my calculations, to travel to the moon and back fast enough for the Forum's liking, the conversion rate needs to be 6% more efficient. A measly 6%, you say? But if I could have squeezed even another 0.6 out of it, don't you think I'd have built it that way in the first place?
Hast thou consulted with the Loperids?
Yes, they too are conducting their own research, for lack of a ready answer. The moon's propulsion systems are considerable, naturally, yet they are commensurately massive. It is no easy feat to convert their technology into an efficient means of propulsion for a teeny tiny toy boat, as they say, and as I most certainly do not.
Yes, exactly! Damn it all, I asked for refined adamantite and they send me uppity rabbits with inscrutable, ancient, incompatible technology! You're trying to drive me mad!
Do you speak of Allegan refined adamantite, perchance?
You know of it?
Only in the most general terms, I'm afraid. 'Twas an alloy of Allegan make, but the secrets of its production were closely guarded. As I recall, the record stated it was vital to Dalamud's construction and launch.
Aye, that's the stuff. No material more conductive far as I know. Slotting some ends like blowing up a dam and watching the river of ether come rushing through. Ain't a living soul that knows how to make it, though. We were fortunate enough to salvage some for the ether burner, just a wee bit, mind, from a chunk of Dalamud that came hurtling into the Northern Empty during the calamity. With more, well, that extra 6% efficiency would be child's play. It's a crying shame that we've no other sources.
Surely the many shards of Dalamud scattered throughout Eorzea would suffice. Why not get the refined adamantite from them?
Oh, we tried, believe you me. But only a few specialised pieces would have had any in them to begin with. Drive calls from Ragnarok-class internment hulks. Those are the prize bits we really need. According to the Gleaners, getting to them means delving deep into the shards. And the defences are still very operational and very eager to blow them up. It's rough going in there, even for the cream. Not sure they'd make it out alive.
Weren't we near that part of the Ragnarok when we went to destroy Bahamut?
The White Raven's ghost, it haunts me. Yeah, these are from, we haven't replayed the raid stuff yet. The A Realm Reborn raid content is the Coils of Bahamut, where you travel with Alize. The White Raven's ghost.
Heavens, are you all right? You look pale as a... Well... Best put that battle from your mind for now. Deep breaths. That's it.
There are multiple internment hulks in Eorzea alone, so handling this ourselves may not be the most efficient option. Rather, if we could salvage adamantite from the shards simultaneously... Thancred, is the link shell we established before you went to Garlemald still active?
Of course. The floor is yours.
What's all this?
Gathering firewood, so to speak. We alone can accomplish little, but joined by others, we may yet build a bonfire to carry us heavensward. This is Alphino. The Scions have need of you.
Understood. I will contact the Lord Commander and dispatch our finest at once.
My sisters are somewhat preoccupied with the final days, so I will lead the 12-foot expedition myself.
Are you aware of any other sources of refined adamantite?
Logically, such an invaluable alloy would have been utilized solely where absolutely necessary, in components intended to conduct or collect surpassing amounts of ether. Any extant instrumentation or devices would have likely found their way into the hands of etherologists or enthusiasts.
Magical artifacts of Allagan design? The Eastern Alliance will send word to one and all. Are there other ways we may offer aid? No shards of the Lesser Moon scar our soil, but our stake in this cause is no less for it.
Is there anything in Othard that might be of use to you?
What did you say? Oh, you got friends in far places, lad. Anyway, if you're offering, I wouldn't say no to one of those Far Eastern sacred relics. Some of them can hold enough ether to summon a whole damn primal. Find a source like that with the ether burner, and 3, 2, 1, kaboom!
I gather you heard his explosive enthusiasm. Might you secure us a suitable relic?
It shall be done. I know little of machines, but I promise we will do our utmost to gather the materials you need to finish your starship. I am glad for the work, in truth. Better to busy oneself than wait and fret over disasters foretold.
Then why are we all still standing about yapping? There's plunder for the taking, and I'm a born plunderer. I'll be an old Charlian before you know it. Start mixing the grog.
I'm certain that can be arranged. Thank you all, and do be careful.
Just like that.
Aye, just like that. Our refined adamantite is on its way. Now let us consider our next steps, shall we? There's yet much to be done.
Be proud of your son, damn it. Fucking Fortuno. times like these we're reminded of how famous, or infamous, Alfino has become. Who'd have thought he could achieve so much with a single Link Pro conversation? As we're expecting rather a lot of visitors in the near future, I'd best return to the surface and inform the relevant parties. I also have a contact of my own that might be worth a try. Oh, and who might that be? That's for me to know and you to find out. And on that note, I leave matters here in your capable hands. Best of luck. Meanwhile, in Ul'dah.
Our course of action is clear. We must harvest refined adamantite from the shards of Dalamud and procure arcane relics of Allagan make. Summon the best and brightest of our immortal flames and form an expeditionary party at once. Call upon the Sultan Sworn and Brass Blades for support as you must. Papashan, send word to the guilds. We will require the expertise of master artisans if we are to have any hope of identifying and recovering these elusive materials. Thiergeist, we have need of your stone torches. They are to assist the immortal flames in scouring the ruins and to help secure the surrounding areas. I trust I can count on your support.
As commander of the Stone Torches, my son Zimberg will personally see it done.
Pippin, I would have you lead the raiding party. Assemble your finest, and with Tizona's blade, clear the way. Lord Lolorito, I pray you take charge of the search for Allagan relics. Surely you know of some being traded on open or clandestine markets, or sleeping in collectors' vaults. Of course, I ask not that you do this out of the kindness of your heart. By all means, profit on the transactions. I wish you the joy of it. The final days descend upon our world. If circumstances are truly as dire as they say, Ul'dah's best efforts may be for naught. And yet, when we Eorzeans rose from the ashes to rebuild our broken realm, did we not learn one simple truth? That which seems all but impossible to overcome alone may yet be possible if we stand together. It was the Scions who united us then, and it is the Scions who call upon us now. Ul'dah will answer that call. We will summon our courage and join the fight for our world's future. You know your duties. I, Nanamo Ul'Namo, 17th in the line of Ul, bid you good luck and Godspeed.
Meanwhile, in the Black Shroud.
We fielded a goodly number, but our ranks are heavy with healers, and an abundance of restorative magics will be of little help in destroying Dalamud's defenses. Still, it has ever been thus with Gridania. We must steel ourselves for a protracted engagement.
In that case, might I suggest taking us along?
Commander Hext, what are you doing here?
None of the shards in Girabania are big enough to hold an internment hulk. So we said to ourselves, why not lend our neighbors a hand? We thought you might be short on people with a talent for breaking things.
While it pains me to admit it, you are right. Our deficiency so plain to see.
It might have been a lifetime ago, but I was once one of the Scions assigned to the Shroud. I know this forest well. I know your people. And I know we will be stronger if we fight this fight together.
Then I will impose upon you with a clear conscience. Come, let us speak of how to integrate our forces.
I won't let it all be for nothing. I promise you, Papalimo.
F's in the chat for Papalimo. Never forget. Meanwhile in Carthus.
There you are! We've no time to waste, brother. Everyone has already...
Biggest F of all Fs in the chat for Harshafon. Be a Bible thump, if you will.
That was a roar! A dragon's roar!
Meanwhile in the Ruby Sea, as the whole world comes together.
And so, in summation, the Eastern Alliance, as well as the Honourable Lord Lolorito himself, reached out to me for assistance in procuring these treasures of the divine, and I, in turn, do beseech the Confederacy for aid. Is that...
Hancock? What a surprise this is. And a fortuitous one at that. I have a favor to ask, you see.
Serious. Now the music is hopeful and epic in the foreseeable future. Though our friends are searching for refined adamantite and sacred relics, we will only know if they meet your requirements once they've arrived. In the meantime, is there aught else we might do to be of service? Ha! You've already done more than enough! If I had to say, though, I could use someone who knows a thing or two about Allagan technology. You there, lad with the red eyes and matching hair. You seem to know more than the average scholar. Ha! If only Master Cockle knew how right he was. While he and Graha establish a rapport, why don't we help with the preparations for the Great Exodus? Indeed, this would mean going above and beyond the terms of our arrangement, but I propose this not to curry favor. As confident as I am that we will succeed, we must be ready for every eventuality. This would also be an opportunity to familiarize ourselves with the logistics of traversing the Great Expanse. If nothing else, it beats twiddling our thumbs while we wait for the adamantite. Well, ain't you a bunch of helpful buggers? You've a mind to lend a hand, I know where you ought to go. Charlie and Hamlet is lousy with researchers and scholarly types busying themselves preparing for the Exodus. Bah! That lot all need all the help they can get. Well then, off we go. I think we'll go for about another hour. I've got the Endwalker bug. I've caught the bug, and we're just getting closer and closer. We're in the level 88 quest, cap of 90. From what I can tell, a lot of people actually live down here. I don't know how much help we can offer, but I dare say they'll benefit from some of that fresh inspiration Scholar Montague mentioned. Let us start by asking around, ideally without getting in anyone's way. Let us meet by the Aetherite once our work is done. Now this part of the story really loves the find the guys in the circle quests. Oh, hello. Are you one of the new helpers? Working on the Aether Burner? Oh dear. Here things have come to a standstill on that front. Even so, I'd choose that over my current duties. Checking and loading samples, day in, day out, it's tiring, thankless work. Still, no one will be cross if I misplace a few legumes or what have you. The Forum's got enough on their plate as it is. What with deciding who gets to board the Ark and when. Lots of powerful people have opinions about that. My heart goes out to Master Fortuno and the others. Hardly get a moment's rest, I expect. Do they even have time to sleep? Album of the Ark. Even with all the power Master Cockles managed to squeeze out of the Aether Burner, it's still not enough, apparently. And now I hear the final days have arrived. Horrible creatures running rampant all over. Only we'd begun the Exodus sooner. People are dying, and there'll be no end to it if we don't fulfill our duties. But we will. We've spent years preparing for this moment, believe in the plan, and all will be well. Here is my final friend. I do not know. Somewhere in this circle. Friend, where are you hiding? I don't think there's anyone inside these buildings. Find the thing in the circle. Find the thing in the circle. Got him. Offering to help? That's very kind, but I should be able to organize the rest of the documents by myself. It's mostly a list of things we'll need once we arrive on the moon, and then whichever star we choose as our new home. My duties largely concern the maintenance of living conditions, so I'll be a lot busier after we depart. I hear that our lunar collaborators have come down to assist in our efforts. I'm looking forward to finally meeting them in person, after having communicated with them in such limited capacity thus far. To be perfectly honest, I've not even the slightest idea what they look like. I do hope they're not enormous, looming giants. Why, I would much prefer something small and fluffy, like that beheaded rabbit that ran by. Fancy meeting you here, Kinliana. Our friends in the forum brought us to see their teeny tiny toy boat, which was quite impressive considering they didn't use any creation magics. What we're really interested in is the Theris itself, though. We now find ourselves at a sort of funny, underground miniaturized version of it. We were hoping the forum would give us a guided tour, but it appears they're rather preoccupied. Honestly, all that time to prepare and they're still not ready. I suppose we'll just have to show ourselves around. Or at least that's what we were planning to do until we chanced upon Urianger and your good self. Since you're both dawdling about, engaging in idle chit-chat, perhaps you could show us a few points of interest. Won't that be fun? A tour of Labyrinthos. An unexpected yet prudent suggestion. Given the similarities betwixt this artificial environment and Bestaway's burrow, it would be in our best interest to have the Loporrits acquaint themselves with those conditions deemed optimal by their Charlian collaborators. I fear, however, that continued reliance upon my limited knowledge would risk narrowing their rather than broadening their perspectives. Mayhap thou art better suited to lead this venture?
What a marvelous idea! Might we begin with that great big what's-it over yonder?
Ah, yes, the what's-it. I shall leave its explanation to you, Kinliana. Not button. Alright, great big what's-it.
Goodness me! To build something so large without creation magics is positively stupendous. Perhaps you could direct our attention to its most important features.
Real questions. Is the shoe bill here? Oh, nope, we have the ambystoma. You spot an ambystoma, an especially lively one at that. It appeared that the concept you observed in another time, another place, was approved for life in the wider world. Somehow. Alright, what's its? We got tanks.
It's a little hard to see from here, but is that a golden pipe connected to the top of those tanks? And I can see through that window another pipe at the bottom. Ah, this must be for purifying water drawn up from below.
That looks like the trees in Greatest Ensvale. Hold on, that's a bit of a strange shape. It's thin at the bottom, but big and round at the top. Quite tall for something so unbalanced, too. Now it makes sense. That's where they store the water. Is that water I hear from inside that great big tube? It must be because of those cogs and the gigantic wheel at the top. Oh, I see. That's how they draw up the water. There's probably some sort of spiral-shaped mechanism inside it, too. Well, if I were to hazard a guess, water drawn from underground, presumably with some other mechanism, is purified here and stored in that tower before being distributed elsewhere. I'm right, aren't I? I knew it! A design brilliant in its simplicity. I dare say it would take only a moment to install even the harshest of environments. For us Loporrits, that is. Indeed, securing a reliable source of water is of the utmost importance for any fledgling settlement. We have read, however, that people of Aetheris sometimes make their homes in arid deserts and such. How are they able to survive? Well, many settlements in Thanalan are built near an oasis. So wherever you choose to live, you're never far from water. Oh dear, I worry we won't be able to procure the necessary amount. We can provide enough water to keep them from drying out completely, but it would appear they rely on it far more than we'd anticipated. A few adjustments may be in order. Once we've calculated the average rate of consumption per individual, it may also be worth learning more about how exactly they obtain their water in the first place. Master Alfinos spoke of the machinery responsible for that feat during our journey through Logic Station Alpha, did he not? Mayhap the Loporrits will share his appreciation for the engineering marvel. Oh yes, that sounds absolutely splendid. We must journey beyond the sanctuary of Charlian Hamlet. I shall lead the way. You mean we'll have to brave the untamed wilderness? A valid concern indeed. You cannot help but notice the many dangerous-looking creatures with big, nasty teeth lurking beyond the safe confines of this settlement. Were we not escorted here by burly custodians, I dread to think what would have become of us. Regrettably, to many a hungry predator with aforementioned big nasty teeth, loporits may appear to be a potential and rather appetizing source of sustenance. Might I impose upon thee to assist in securing safe passage to Logisticon Alpha? For my part, I shall act as escort to Living Way and Cooking Way. I entrust Seeing Way and Growing Way to thy care. A more valiant protector they could not wish for. Godspeed. If it's all the same to you, I'd rather not be eaten by some horrid beastie. Come along, Growing Away. To the water extraction, what's it? Ah, yes, the what's it. Pardon the yawning. I might not make it another hour, but I want to make it another hour. So, we'll see what happens. Thank you so much. I really hope his water extraction butts is worth these harrowing experiences. All part of the fun, some might say, but I'd rather not be burnt to a crisp if it's all the same to you. My friends, I bid you welcome to Logisticon Alpha. Our destination doth lie at the lift's top. Pray follow me. Please use the lift should you wish to go to the medial circuit. Let me know if you're headed that way. Marvelous, simply marvelous. This is where the magic, or science rather, takes place. The perfect environment to sustain life artificially created. The knowledge we'll gain here will be essential when we start looking for new stars for your kind to inhabit. Apparently most of them don't even have air for you to breathe. We're all very lucky that theirs just so happens to provide everything you need to thrive. Or did mankind turn out the way they are because of the available resources, I wonder? Either way, it's nothing short of miraculous, and I cannot wait to see more of it. This is all very wonderful, I'm sure, but I was rather hoping to learn more about your nourishment provision facilities. In other words, where's the food? I believe both the knowledge and consumables you seek may be found at Mariel Ergonomics. As I imagine Singing Way and the others intend to study every conceivable facet of this apparatus, would thou be so kind as to escort our visiting culinarian? Yes, that sounds much more interesting. Hopefully they'll be able to see firsthand some of the delicacies Oriange was telling me about. Even his incredibly vivid, if a bit too verbose descriptions cannot compare to sampling them myself. Not to mention Atheris will soon be no more, so I must learn all I can while there's still time. Let us brook no further delay. This is the place, yes? The heady aroma was enough to guide me here, and I've spotted several of the fruit and vegetables featured in our compendium. I'd dearly love to try some, but I read that those who help themselves to a farmer's crops without permission are often caught and put into pies. Perhaps you could ask whoever's in charge if they would be willing to part with a few samples? Oh, what a fine mess this is. Ah, it's you. Going to climb down the mine shaft. I'd show you around if I could, but I'm rushed off my feet preparing for the Exodus. I'm not the only one. We've all got to find ways to do what we do. We've all got to find ways to do what we do down here, up there. First on the moon, then on whichever star the Forum decides will be our new home. It's all so sudden, so unreal. Don't you want to go to the moon? Well, it's better than waiting for the final days to claim us, but no matter how carefully it's all planned, we'll never be able to take every variety of flora and fauna with us. Even the ones we can take may not survive in their new environment. So many species doomed to extinction. Sorry, that's not what you came to talk about, is it? Nothing quite so dire, I assure you. We merely wish to sample a little of your produce, if we may. By all means, help yourselves. Much appreciated, my good fellow. So, where to begin? As low poly as they used to be. These grapes were once upon a time a brilliant meme of the community. Still very pictured. They don't look much better to me, but you know, that's fair. Oh, I know what these are. Grapes, yes? Let's see if they're as delicious as they look. So sweet, so sour. The taste is much like a ripe philosopher's carrot, and yet the texture is entirely different. The contrast between the outer skin and the fruit within is most peculiar, though far from unpleasant. Yes, I think I'll try another. Well, that's certainly given me food for thought, though in a far less visceral manner than any philosopher's carrot. But tell me, what's your opinion of grapes? Brave interrupting Volcano for a choice bunch. Alright, Asm. I don't even know. Yes, they are rather Moorish, aren't they? And from what I've read, quite versatile too. Something about people stepping on them to make intoxicating beverages, as I recall. Anyway, that's enough about grapes for the time being. On to the next treat. Here we have oranges, I think. Orange by name, orange by nature. What came first, the fruit or the color? Who cares? Let's eat. Yes, that's... Equal parts sweet and sour, as with the grapes, yet nothing alike. I may have to consult Oriange about expanding my vocabulary. I simply cannot find the words to describe it. Perhaps what I'm looking for is bitter. This is all very complicated, you know? So many flavors, so many choices, each individual with their own personal preferences. Now I see why you all turned your noses up at the idea of eating nothing but carrots. Marvelous though they still are in my estimation, let no one say I said otherwise. Ah, but speaking of carrots, I've yet to sample any of the vegetables. Let's see what's in that field over there. Pumpkins. That color, that texture. Are they some sort of enormous round carrots? No. In any case, proper nomenclature is less of a concern than the taste. Blah! This is so hard and flavorless. I may as well be chewing a piece of wood. And all but confirms it, these are nothing more than misbegotten failures masquerading as goodly carrots. Stop, stop, stop! Can't you see these are pumpkins? And no one with any sense would try eating them raw. You're supposed to cook them first. Do you not find it an awful bother? Far from it. Cooking is a joy unto itself. What's more, it broadens the range of ingredients that we may safely eat. But above all else, cooking allows us to draw out the full potential of our produce. Pumpkin stew has been one of my favorite dishes for as long as I can remember. perhaps even these hard blocks of plant matter can become as delicious as the orange I sampled. I wonder, though, if there's anything even more delicious. How about that yellow fruit over yonder? Don't do it, Cooking Away. It's a trap. What a wondrous fragrance. With luck, it'll have a flavor to match. As I have no idea how these are eaten, I'll just bite into it. My tongue, is this poison? A lemon? You mean it's supposed to taste like this? How could something so similar to an orange be so revolting? Ah, maybe some time before my palate recovers from this ordeal. As such, I'd best call an end to this round of sampling. Let's say our farewells and return to the others. Finished, have you? I trust you found something to your liking? I'm rather enamored with the grapes and oranges. Less so the pumpkin, though I learned the hard way they're not to be eaten raw. Then there was the lemon, the deceiver. I still feel so violated. First time, was it? I'd hate for you to leave with a bad taste in your mouth, in more ways than one, so I'll give you this lemon muffin I baked. If this doesn't change your opinion, nothing will. More lemon? Have I not suffered enough? Nevertheless, it would be remiss of me to spurn this opportunity to... Sick came up there. Learn more of your inscrutable ways. Very well, Lemon Muffin, do your worst. This is... delicious! Although I still detect a hint of lemon, it complements the sweetness of the dough to create a perfect harmony. I would never guess its vile bitterness could be utilized so elegantly. My good chap, this is simply breathtaking. See, we rarely use lemon in its natural state, but it has a starring role in all sorts of recipes, and the same is true of many other ingredients. It comes down to making the most of the resources at our disposal, and sometimes that can even be the difference between life and death. I know we won't be able to take every species with us. No doubt the Forum agonized over what was worth preserving, and what will be consigned to history. Hard choices, but make them we must if we're to survive. But strength of will. Now I know what Hydaelyn sees in your kind. Mankind, the Loporrits, you were both born from the accumulated knowledge of the ancients. They learned all there is to learn about the nature of sentient life and the faces of the stars themselves. The fates of the stars themselves. Stars don't have faces. Once civilization has fulfilled the basic requirements for survival, it will inevitably seek to eliminate all forms of negativity and achieve perfection. And therein lies its folly and its downfall. For perfection is an unattainable ideal. It is the paradox of the immaculate carrot. Its civilizations, since time immemorial, have deemed the pursuit of perfection as progress. They pay no heed to the costs incurred in their futile quest, and all too often become the architects of their own demise, their dreams forever unfulfilled. Yet what, then, is the alternative? The answer lies in knowing that our existence can never be perfect. Be content with what we have and make the most of it. When life gives you lemons, make lemon muffins. Pardon my Eorzean, but what the seven hells are you on about? And who are you, anyway? Cooking Way, at your service. I'm here to help prepare for the trip to the moon. And once you get there, you'll be able to try my carrots. I've been growing all different kinds. But don't worry, there'll be room for your crops too. We'll work together to preserve as many of Atheros' species as possible if you're up to the challenge. Yes, of course. I look forward to it. Well, this has been highly productive. Probably. Let's go and see what Urianja and the others have run out of machinery to inspect, shall we? That was not a proper sentence. I don't care. Goodbye, tall Aura man. was most enlightening, especially the part with the lemon muffin. Actually, I was wondering, you know of any other places famed for their cuisine? Well, Lim's La Mensa has the Culinarians Guild, and many less than savory establishments. Would that I had time to visit. Oh, the more I learn of Atheris, the more I wish we could spare it from the final days. Alas, Heidelin's orders are to flee, not to resist. Only there was some other way. Kinliana, I trust thy time at Mariel Argonomics did bear fruit. Our own efforts, too, were rewarded. We now possess an embarrassment of educational riches. No doubt our guests' relentless pursuit of knowledge could occupy them, and us for a fortnight. Alas, time is of the essence. Let us return to Charlie and Hamlet forthwith. I shall gladly attend to each and every Loppert there, should further questions within my power to answer arise. Oh. Yes, Kinliana, that was indeed me verbalizing a sigh to express my emotional state. You want to know why? Because I saw the reconstructed environmental data for Atheris at Logisticon Alpha, that's why. A forest so lovely and so leafy. Are all of your forests like that? The Black Shroud is quite leafy indeed, and a place of utmost tranquility. Gasp! Gasp, I say! For the star is so wonderful, it comes as no surprise that you're reluctant to leave it behind. I was a fool to think otherwise, to assume that the moon was something worth being proud of. How ridiculous we must seem to you, trying so hard yet achieving so little. Not at all. Thy works are no less worthy for their uniqueness. I thought I heard tiny voices. Thancred. How didst thou fare? Oh, I was able to glean a fair bit from the researchers while helping to move their cargo. Preparations have proceeded without interruption here, despite news of the coming end. We have the Forum's leadership to thank for that. That doesn't mean people aren't worried, though. Quite the opposite. Knowing disaster could strike at any moment, they hurry to complete their work, equally aware that a single error could be the difference between life and death. We can hardly tell them there's no cause for concern. Perhaps not. Though, aided by our goodly growing way, we may yet find other ways to lighten their burden. Me? Be of use to people? I'm honored you would think me so capable, but I'm not sure that I'm up to the challenge. Nevertheless, I believe in thee. If you say so, I suppose it can't hurt to try. I passed someone moping in the western plaza that looked to be in need of a helping paw. Perhaps you might start with him. As good a place as any. Come. I'm pretty sure we're rapidly approaching another cutscene that made me cry like a child, so I think we're gonna go up to that cutscene, and then we'll call it a night. Just so I don't open up next session with tears. Oh, can I help you? It is you who would help me. Is my anxiety truly so obvious? A burden shared is a burden eased. Pray, tell us of thy troubles. Those little fellows do look like good listeners. I'm an engineer, you see, and what they say of the ship, that it's the sum of decades of Charlian ingenuity, that it's built with peerless, elegant technology, is all true, but I know that none of that's a guarantee. We've never before launched a starfaring vessel, let alone flown it in the great expanse. All the tests we've run have been on the ground. Only operational personnel and cargo will be aboard for the first voyage, but even so, if it fails us then, what can we do? If it doesn't, it could fall apart on the next flight, or the one after that. We've done everything we can to prevent that from happening, but it hardly matters. We thought the Aetherburner's design was flawless too, and look how that turned out. Thou art familiar with these most daunting technologies, and thus dost thou hold the power to allay his fears. Oh, I'm not so sure about that, but, well... Maybe you could tell me if there are any aspects of the ship's design that you're especially worried about. Our ability to walk and perform our tasks, for one. I've devised a means by which to employ gravity, a spatiotemporal spell, to regulate the environment, but what if it's not strong enough? What if everyone floats away and begins crashing into things as soon as we left the star? Aha! Gravitation! Maybe I can be of help after all. Up there's not so different from down here, you see. The same rules apply, and if you consider them as part of one great big cosmos rather than separate pieces... I suspect both parties shall find comfort in this conversation. Yet if Thancred's tales be true, still others would benefit from insights born of experience. Might I prevail upon the Loporits to attend them? An excellent idea, if I do say so myself. There's naught we'd like more than to ease the hearts of the fine people of Aetheris and learn more about them while we're at it. Full glad am I to hear it. Gather thy companions and bring them hither. Liana, thou hast a gift for finding souls in need of succor. Pray seek thee out the distressed and the apprehensive, and inform them that help is at hand. I shall await them here, that I might introduce each to a suitable Loporit. Ah yes, one of the biggest find the fuckers in the circle quests of this expansion. Oh, I do so look forward to that! A place for every Loporit, and every Loporit in their place. Yeah, this quest took me a literal millennia. Because look, they're just like, here's a giant circle, go find 8 dickheads, and there's more than 8 people you can talk to. Concerns? Nay, there's no point in worrying at this stage. It'll only make the work go that much slower. Woman seems to be coping well. "56 bunches of weeds in the ground, 56 bunches of weeds. Rip one out, add to the mound, 55 bunches of weeds in the..." I'm not neglecting my duties, I swear. I was in need of a little break, you see, but then I found myself unable to relax at all, so I went on a walk, and then I noticed these weeds, and... pleasant conversation partners and oh so fuzzy? Goodness me, that does sound like a much better way to relax. I think it was this guy right here that I missed. Last time. Blasted assistants, where have they gone off to at a time like this? Beg pardon, but I have not the time for idle chit-chat. I need to reconfirm that aether levels are consistent throughout the vessel's machinery, and it seems I shall have to do it single-handedly. I swear, when I find those assistants of mine... The Loporits are willing to help. Why didn't you say so? At least they won't moan about how they've checked 2 dozen times already and haven't slept in weeks. Lazy sods. How might I help you? My, what a lovely idea. I too noticed people becoming rather tense, so I rushed out to pluck some fresh and fragrant tea leaves. Now I need only track down 100 or so cups. But don't you worry, I can manage. I hope your plan to cheer everyone up goes well. This woman's doing better than you are. Worries. No, I believe I'm fine, thank you. I've been confiding in my colleagues and it's helped a lot. Can't recommend it enough. This researcher already has the support she needs. You heard anything of what's on the moon? I've no doubt that we can make it up there, but the searching for a new star part of the plan sounds awfully vague to me. I asked the forum, but they will only tell us that our collaborators have everything under control. Forgive me, but I don't feel particularly safe wandering through the sea of stars on God knows what, made by God knows who. You mean to say that I can speak with them directly? Amazing! I hope they like questions. What am I thinking about? The medical facilities on the ship, of course. I designed them with the assistance of our sages and chirurgeons, but to imagine every illness or injury that one might face in that great expanse is beyond any of us. To say nothing of the effects that living out there might indefinitely have on the body. The crew from the moon? Why did I not think of that? The end of the world is nigh, yet the work goes no faster. Schedules are such temperamental things. Feasible one moment, utter bollocks the next. And yet I've never felt so alive. This one is beyond your help. Only sleep can save her now. You idiot! Have you seen an envelope lying around? This imbecile refuses to give me the alchemic I ordered without that bloody slip of parchment. Unless your friends have a spell to make me remember where I dropped my damned envelope, I doubt they'll be any more help than you. We've wasted enough of my time already. It would be unfortunate for all involved to inflict this man upon the Loporits. My face? What's wrong with my... Yeah, perhaps I am a bit tense. I was tasked with ensuring that the proper fauna, and only the proper fauna, are brought with us to the moon. However, the sustainability of a few species is still under debate, and I can hardly make the decision myself when I know so little about the environment up there. Including the Loporits in our discussions is a wonderful idea. I absolutely will, thank you. Perhaps their biology itself might offer some clue as well. Consulting our collaborators? I suppose that would be more effective than sitting here brooding. I'm attempting to calculate how much cargo we can consolidate into fewer trips. Should the ether burner make our original estimates unfeasible, but there are simply too many variables. I feel as if my brow will turn inside out. But perhaps our lunar associates will have more insight into how much weight constitutes too much weight for our purposes. Thank you for letting me know. There are two more shitheads in this circle. Anything bothering me? Well, I've been loading cargo for bells now, so my back feels like Void Sense played as a piano. My feet and knees as drums and cymbals, too. Spooner seems fine, if not in need of a break. Just leave me to my misery. The forum can appoint someone else. I apologize. I simply don't know what to do. How am I supposed to pilot the Ark if I'm already falling apart under the pressure? You know a starship pilot I might speak with? Truly? Well, then there's no time to waste. They can help me prepare for this monumental task. Alright, where is this last mother trucker? Look unconcerned. Apologies, but I'm awaiting a delivery. Whatever it is, we'll have to wait. This cleaner seems too busy to chat, for his benefit or otherwise. A man doesn't need help. I don't think they're out there. I think they have to be. Where is this last friend? I don't know. I am going to stop once we get to this next tear-jerking cutscene. I'm also starting to lose my voice a little bit. Where is this last friend? One last friend, and they're somewhere in this circle. God. This has happened to me every time I've done this part of the story. 3 times, and I just have no goddamn clue where these people are. Aha! You're hyperventilating. Go pet a rabbit. By the gods, my chest is tight. Am I dying? Is this what dying feels like? Oh, do pardon me, I didn't see you there. There's no cause for concern, I assure you. No cause for concern, even though we may need to depart at any moment. And if the hull design buckles under the strain, the entire vessel may explode on launch, claiming countless lives and dooming all mankind, but that's highly unlikely. Yeah, highly unlikely. Highly... Our visitors can help me triple check for structural flaws. For structural flaws, you say? Why, that would be wonderful. I'm breathing more easily already. Behold, Kinliana, through thine efforts, word hath spread throughout Labyrinthos. Verily, to a far greater number than we anticipated. Living Way doth gather more Loporrits as we speak. I shall assign each in accordance with their skills, that new bonds of friendship might be forged. Should greater matters require not thine attentions, watch over them, I prithee.
So much in, well, in forever.
Lively, isn't it? The town is abuzz. Everyone eager to meet with our friends from the moon.
'Twould behoove you to consult with Sleeping Way. As our moon's pilot, his advice should be most pertinent.
I'm impressed. Truth be told, I struggle to tell one from another. No offense intended, of course.
None taken. After you and your friends left Mare Elementorum, we spent no small amount of time with your Urianger. Oh, the conversations we had. He told us all about Atheris, answered our every question, no matter how trifling or trivial. Look! Every page filled to the margins with knowledge. When I first arrived, I was struck by how little I knew. It was daunting. But then I realized that were it not for Urianger and his teachings, we'd still be stuck on the moon, gazing at your world and wondering what we've been missing.
What would they think if they could see Urianger now? I dare say they'd be more than a bit surprised. And impressed, no doubt. Master Louisoix, Minfilia, Papalimo, and not to forget...
Oh there. Heard there was a visiting expert who we might bother with a few questions. I take it you'd be the one.
Yes, I am.
Wilson and Blovida, Sharlayan's foremost researchers in the field of teleportation magic, and Moonbreeder's parents.
It hath been some time. 'Tis good to see you in good health.
Likewise, old friend. Blovida and I were most honored to answer the call. Never expected this reunion, though, did we, dear?
I'll say, the nerve. Sending that letter, then running off to the gods know where. Do you have any idea how worried we were?
I'm sorry. 'Twas remiss of me not to deliver the news in person. No, more than that. 'Twas I who...
Our daughter was disillusioned after Master Louisoix left her behind. The day the Scions called upon her was the happiest I'd seen her in years. She made her every choice of her own free will. No one could have ever forced her to do otherwise. Don't blame yourself for her death. Celebrate her life. You know that's what she'd want.
If there is one thing we resent you for, it was that we could not be there to mourn her with you. Reading the words you penned in that shaky hand, we must have cried as much for you as we did for her.
I'm sorry. I truly, truly am. I knew not what to say. Knew not how to express my feelings. The poems and platitudes of wiser men, musings on sadness and loss, studied and memorized, and meaningless in the moment.
Silly boy. We are all powerless before such grief. Even now, try as I might, the words escape me. But in our hearts, we know. We always know.
I remember when you were young, how the lads teased you for choosing the company of books over others. Our moon didn't take kindly to that. Be nice to Urianger, she'd shout, and give them a walloping. No matter how many times we scolded her.
So we offered a suggestion. Rather than starting fights, Why don't you be the bridge between Urianger and the others? She had to mull it over for a while, arms crossed, brow furrowed in intense thought. But from that day on, she never let you be alone. She'd drag you outside to play, pepper you with endless questions, read the same books you read, all to try and understand you that much better. I'm sure it was annoying and exhausting at the time, but she only ever had the best of intentions.
And look at you now, at the center of the crowd. The reason there even is a crowd, having brought these people together. You've no idea how proud we are.
To see the boy, our daughter, trusted and believed in more than anyone, grow into the man she always knew he could be. I can see her in you too. Feel her. She walks with you wheresoever you go. So thank you, Urianger, for being who you are.
I think I can feel her too. The truth of her life. Not sorrow, but hope and love.
This moon breeder. She was important to him, wasn't she?
You could ask the man himself.
Oh, no. But watching this exchange reminds me how much I've yet to learn about your world. And its people.
You can live here your entire life and hardly learn a thing. And that's why it's too soon for this to end.
So Square Enix really just sucker punched us with a reconciliation cutscene that has been waiting since 2.0, when they killed off Moon Burrito, who very clearly was in love with Urianger, and be with her. Oh, Kinliana, be assured that I am fine. I am. Well, glad to see them too, after so very long. Gladder still that it was in your company. As difficult as it was to accept their kindness, it would have been far harder had I faced them alone. Yeah, we won't pick up the next one. We will instead call it there. I'm losing my voice. And we just watched a grown man cry tears that he's needed to cry for literally 6 years. I know at this point probably, because the game just celebrated its, like, what, 8th anniversary? So, like, yeah, this man needed to cry tears for, like, 7 years. He finally fucking did it. Good for you, buddy. You did it. If anyone is still lurking, thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. I, alas, have work in the morning. But, tomorrow is Friday. And I don't have anything like I normally do. So we might actually see a speedrun on this channel. Crazy, I know. But if not, or after, I will probably do more of this, because we are really speeding towards the end of this expansion. And, you know, someday I will keep writing. Once I have all of the footage, I will have no excuses.
But yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for lurking. I appreciate all of you, and I hope you have a fantastic evening and day tomorrow. Good night.